What's up, gamers? Welcome to part 9. I finally managed to clear a path to our first soon-to-be companion, but I've noticed that there's this pretty nasty monster in the way. He's marked as strong, which seems to translate to me as resists everything a Consular does, so I'll demonstrate here. Throw a rock at his face, does damage but doesn't stun him. If we use a Force Wave here, you'll see that it knocks him back, does damage but doesn't stun him. That can actually do more harm than good. Force Stun, our trusty Force Stun, still works, but that Force Wave, you have to be careful with it. You know, if you knock him back into a group of other monsters that you haven't tagged yet, you can very easily train yourself and end up with a whole nother group of monsters in your face attacking you. So yeah, this is a pretty hard fight because we just really can't use any of our abilities, and to prove that, I want to back up for a little bit. This is what the whole second half of this fight looks like on fast forward. So yeah, it's pretty lolsy. You're just golf clapping him to the face over and over and over, and he's just calmly sitting there taking it, you know, firing his pistol at your face.
Did Nayland hurt you? I can try to treat your injuries.
Wow, this guy is ready to commit seppuku after having his score reset. Are all South Koreans green and scaly?
You're still a person, Kaizen, whether you have a score or not. Kaizen, Master Yuan has been at the Jedi Temple for hours. Nayland must have used some force trick to make you think he was Yuan. Then I shouldn't waste any time.
And in a plot twist worthy of M. Night Shyamalan, it turns out that Nayland can confuse his appearance using the Force. I would have thought that would have required some pretty serious Force mojo, but if he can learn to do it, can I? I mean, the possibilities would be absolutely endless. Show up one day as Kaizen's mother. Kaizen, why haven't you called your mother? And Kaizen be like, ugh, sorry, Mom. I was, you know, killing natives like a Jedi. Speaking of which, yeah, he is a Jedi. He's a Consular. He's like Yoda. He's like a big Yoda. I didn't see that coming, did you? I would have thought bounty hunter for sure, but okay. Also, ow, he just like a baseball swung a lightsaber at me enough to knock me off my feet. I think it hurt my ego more than my hit points, though. Yeah, you'll notice in the bottom left that our companion has his own little flyout now in our UI. He's got 4 different abilities, and I don't think I'm going to go over them in detail, but the gist is that he can taunt and he can tank. I think he's designed to kind of be a complementary character to the default Consular. Anyways, now we're looking at the fight that we were just in, except with a tech savant and a droid. And the tech savant and the droid aren't strong, so I'm going to go for them first and CC the war leader. Because these guys are actually vulnerable to my stuns and whatnot, so I'm going to take them out quick. And then hopefully we get a one-on-one with the other guy. So yeah, it looks like that strategy worked pretty well. Ow. I kind of like the fact that they've introduced knockback like that early enough. You know, in other online games, the combat just tends to be so bland that when they finally roll out knockback, they present it like it's this huge, special, high-level thing. Like, they make you wait until level 35 before you get to see knockback, and I'm always just like, Jesus, guys, you're really padding this out as much as you possibly can, aren't you? There's so many things that other developers have gotten wrong when it comes to playing with NPCs in a game like this. Even in a single-player RPG where you'd expect, like, better AI, BioWare has done, like, a better job than Skyrim for their companion AI, as I will demonstrate. You see I've got a crowd-controlled monster over there. My companion actually won't interrupt my crowd control. It sounds like a small thing to say, but there's so many games where they run up and hit whatever you CC because it's the first thing you have targeted. Also, I can think of so many games where the pathing is so bad that if you jump off a ledge or something like that to reach a lower level, your companions will run through the entire dungeon, aggroing every single monster in there on their, like, quests to get back to you. And they'll always make it back alive, but they'll make it back alive with, like, 40 friends. And as you can see right there, that doesn't happen in this game. Your companion can't aggro monsters, which I think is a great change if you're going to go by a usual sort of pathing system. You know at some point it's going to screw up. And I always felt like in most games the price of that was just too heavy. It was constant wiping. Without it, now these companions are actually worth grouping with. And that's huge, because it means that you can do group quests and stuff like that without always having to wait for a group, and even in a very popular game, that can really slow you down. Okay, so this place is full of Shaman, which says Spellcaster to me. That's why I'm making such heavy use of Force Stun. And it's strong, but you see that Force Wave there? You can still interrupt their spells with Force Wave, even though it doesn't stun them. The knockback on it is enough. Ah, and there's our first quest objective. I must say, I wonder if you can use these to escape from monsters. I've never tried it before.
No further, Seeker. You come here unpurified. It is an insult to Rajivari's memory. Rajivari's apprentices were flawed, but they walked the fire and were reborn. Only a personal sacrifice will show your strength and resolve, Seeker. Will you be purified by flame?
Okay, so I think the answer that they want me to give is number 2, sacrifice is foolish. It's also pretty interesting that you can just tell your companion to stand in and burn, but I'm gonna go with number 1 because I'm starting to think about companion points, and also, I'm not a Sith. What can I say?
I will stand in the fire and show you my strength.
Powerful words, but self-sacrifice is the path of a fool.
Ah, okay. Interesting philosophical rebuttal.
He is not kind to intruders. Flee or suffer.
Gone, like a queef in the night. Ah, I'll never steal your fire-roasted wings again! Whew, I think he heard me. Okay, so now we've been debuffed. It's a good thing we have our companion here with us. You better not forget about this, buddy. And, oh, what do we have over here? I'm wondering what this temple will throw at us next.
You made it after all. I hoped your head would be on Nayland's trophy by now.
Ooh, wrong answer. I guess I'll be keeping this morphine for myself, then.
But the traps... It doesn't matter. You're the enemy. If I can still hold a blade, I can stick you in the heart.
Damn that rap music!
Mercy leads to a spiral of destruction. You don't belong here.
Ah, not Walker Texas Ranger reruns.
Your ignorance should devour you.
In the eyes of a ranger.
But all things in time.
Yay, fireworks. Oh no, I'm drunk. Oh man, this temple. Crippling pain. Oh, and I'm hobbling around now like a useless old man. This is bullshit. I've been burned. I've been tortured with Chuck Norris. God, what could possibly be next? Stone carving. Hey Kaizen, you want to click on this one for me, buddy? No? What poison gas? What is this, a Bond movie? Wait a minute, the door's still open. That's what I'll do, I'll just walk right out the door.
There must be a switch or lever somewhere.
Or I could just look around uselessly for a few minutes. Okay, well done. Ah, nothing like a little sarin gas to refresh the mind, am I right? Looks like my Jedi training kept me alive. And now I have to speak to Rajivari. Jesus, it's about time. I'm like crippled, I'm in pain, I've been tortured with Chuck Norris, I've been lit on fire. God, this better be worth it. I'm gonna want at least 2 briefcases full of credits at the end of this.
Of course, here is the other. Seekers of forbidden knowledge always have their pursuers. If you came for Nayland Rallock, he has been and gone. So much is fleeting. But I remain, and I remain the man I was. Rajivari.
You can't be alive. The Council struck you down thousands of years ago.
Your pet is brighter than he looks. When my body failed me, I refused to become one with the Force. How could I? The Jedi were still imperfect. Here, in my laboratory, I had refined certain devices. I could give one chosen apprentice decades of experience in a day. An apprentice to become worthy to carry my vision.
Your wisdom and knowledge were preserved through you and these devices you created.
I have waited for new acolytes. I believed Nayland Rallock was a suitable candidate. A disappointment. Nayland walked through the traps instead of solving them. He suffered greatly. You at least survived with your mind intact. Nayland, alas, did not.
I know the knowledge he gathered was twisting his mind.
I miscalculated. Nayland's mind wasn't equal to the wisdom he demanded. I have made not a successor, but a monster. Nayland will not remake the Jedi. He wishes to destroy them and everything else on this world, beginning with the Great Forge, where lightsabers are made. Without the Forge, the Jedi lose their martial power. You must stop Nayland before he destroys it.
Well, this guy's character just got about 10 times more interesting. You know, one thing that they've preserved about the early Sith that I like is that they weren't sort of these mustache-twirling, stereotypical, cardboard cutout bad guys. They actually were somewhat understandable, kind of, not really. I mean, they're still the bad guys, but I like this kind of bad guy a little bit more.
I thought you intended to destroy the Jedi. You attacked the Council.
I sought to cleanse them, to begin anew. Nayland wants only ashes. That weapon won't suffice against Nayland. But you carry the hilt of the first blade, an old friend. Simple procedure would convert it to a working lightsaber hilt, and perhaps a crystal from the Forge caves to power it, given its age.
This guy has been dead for 1,000 years. This is like getting advice on how to rebuild your transmission from a pharaoh.
Finally, I will carry the weapon of a Jedi.
Pass through the caves and seek the Forge at the mountain summit. Stop Nayland, this abomination my knowledge has created.
Master Rajivari, you've held on to this existence for thousands of years. Perhaps it's time for it to end.
Ah, child. You see only what the Jedi are, but I saw what could have been. My colleagues wouldn't listen. I spoke of strength, they cowered. I spoke of a golden age. They chattered of overstepping ourselves. It will happen. Someday, the right acolyte will carry my vision.
Those ideas drove you to betray the Council, your friends. And what about your apprentices?
My apprentices. Yes. Cahill, always wiser than his age. Vadria, North. Speak of things I had long put aside.
You were a great man once. You deserve more than this ruin and your memories.
I gave my dream to Nayland Rallock, and I saw a horror. Perhaps was always so. Please, stop him. Correct my last mistake. We must succeed. You are proof the Jedi did not lose their way, after all.
You were right all along, and to show my gratitude, I bestow upon you my ancient and powerful fur hoodie. Oh, God, this is a fashion nightmare. I'm gonna get arrested for wearing this. What a cheap old bastard.